Look at that. Hey,
Yay.
everybody. Wait, do I
Hey.
have to do something so it starts streaming on my actual account? Because I don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Yeah,
I'm like, do I have to do it? It's supposed to automatically connect, right? Is it streaming on Rosebud? Yeah, let me just double check if it's even streaming on Rosebud.
It should be streaming everywhere.
I see it streaming on Rosebud. Do not see it streaming on mine. Which means
I
that we
see
might
it streaming on board Elon. So
have... Really? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, no, it's streaming on mine now. Okay, great. There was a lag, but we are good. Wow. Okay, the title's still Board Elon X Rosebud AI, though.
Really?
Call it multi...
Okay, yeah, now it's working. Hi, everybody. We're just figuring stuff out in terms of streaming, but
some multiplayer games.
Yeah, figured that I would start off with a game already in progress that is very much not multiplayer, and then maybe we could talk through approaches on how to make it multiplayer. But before we get to that, maybe we should just talk about Rosebud, because there's probably a bunch of people watching who don't know who we are, what this is, what's happening, what's going on. So maybe that's a good start. Leisha, you want to kick things off?
Sounds good. I mean, very simply, we are the cursor for games, and so Rosebud makes it really easy to make a game by vibe coding, and then you can also publish it in one click. As you can see in Board's screen share right now, there's a publish button, and then you can share it with all of your friends. So we're hopefully going to show you how to make a multiplayer game today, and just vibe code.
I love the cursor for games. That's such an easy thing for people in tech to understand. And if you're even less techie than that, it's if you have an idea for a game, you can tell the machine what it is, and it will help you make the game if you don't know how to code, which is me. I literally do not know how to write a single line of code. I can copy and paste it pretty well, but that's the extent of it. And so this has been an awesome tool for me to play with. I've studied game design for a very long time. I've built tabletop games, and I've been able to ship them because that just requires Photoshop and Illustrator skills. But I've never been able to take my game dev knowledge and build video games. And so like this has been such an unlock for me. And I've made 7 games in the last month, and they're casual games. I'm not building Cyberpunk or Call of Duty, but like it's been really cool. And so as someone could probably tell from the current game that is displaying, I try to take common game modes and mechanics and apply them or skin them with very topical themes. So a lot of things that people are talking about on Twitter, those will be the genre or the theme of the games that I've been building. So very much trying to build like rapid fire kind of disposable games to get played for a week and then forgotten, and move on to the next thing. And part of the reason I wanted to chat with this team was because pretty much every game I've been building so far with Rosebud has been single player. So, kind of like the games that a lot of people grew up with, right? You play against the environment or the bots or the AI. And obviously, starting 20 or so years ago, games joined the internet and you could play against other people around the world. So that's an important feature, but I have not really explored that, and kind of wanted to chat with everybody and just work live here and see if we could try to make a game multiplayer. So as of right now, I have essentially what is an air hockey game, the US versus China, very topical, obviously. And it's just, you playing against the AI. So maybe as a starter, any thoughts from anyone on what form of multiplayer could work well here? I think there's different approaches. You could have one versus one type of game. You could have many people playing the same game at the same time, kind of like Tetris 99. You could have more than 1-on-1, just do like 5 versus 5 air hockey. So any initial thoughts or fun suggestions on maybe how multiplayer could work for something like this?
I mean, if I can just go into full vibe code brain, maybe we can just ask Rosie, how would I add multiplayer to this game? And
I didn't know you could do that. That's great.
Yeah, no, totally. She doesn't. I mean, she could just start generating code, but oftentimes she'll also indulge you in a little bit of her speculation if you ask her a direct question.
Oh, okay, cool. Hi, Rosie. How are you? You got to be nice.
You're super nice. Yeah.
Just in case. Just in
Yeah.
case. Any ideas on how to make this game multiplayer? I have experimented with just asking it questions instead of directives, like any ideas on like a power up, and it comes up with really good stuff.
I'm doing great. Oh, nice. Oh man. Yeah, because she's using your code as context to generate
Mhm.
these ideas. So,
Yeah.
ooh. Oh,
Um,
okay. It's getting down in the weeds. Um, maybe instead of the implementation, because she's giving you actual implementation details, be like,
yeah.
no, just give me ideas of how would I word it? Um,
Maybe formats.
yeah, formats of multiplayer, like you were saying, like 2-person or Jason, feel free to jump in here. Jason's
Yeah,
probably
sure. Yeah.
far more prolific than I am making games. But the better we make Rosie, the more prolific I can get.
Yeah, no, but what you said is right. Pretty much looking for like more like styles of multiplayer or
Yeah.
formats rather than the actual implementation.
Yeah. Have you all, are you familiar with Tetris 99 and how that works?
I think so. It's like, is it like just the whole? It's like a crazy where everybody's clicking at the same time. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so Nintendo released it a while ago, but basically, like everyone's playing. There's 99 people who play Tetris at the same time, but on their own individual board, and it's a survival game. So it gets
Oh
harder
yeah,
and
I know
harder, and
that.
the
Yeah.
last person to be alive is the winner. I don't know if it would work actually for this particular game, but it's a little bit of inspiration for me here. Okay, so we've got some suggestions from Rosie. So yeah, there's the classic 1v1, which maybe there could just be some like random matching. So you could play against somebody else. Best of series, so best of 3 of 5 matches. Players swap sides between matches for fairness. I think that's still kind of an extension of 1v1.
Yeah.
Timed tournament mode. That's cool. Tournament mode. Like if everybody plays against the AI, but then there's a tournament for who gets the best. I mean, to some degree, I've been building these games with scoreboards, so that's kind of like that's been really the extent of my multiplayer work. Is that you are playing against the machine, but you can basically compare your scores to everybody else. Maybe just for the sake of ease, we just go with a 1v1. I don't know
Sure.
if that seems easy enough. But.
Or your suggestion of like the Tetris 99 seems so chaotic. I wonder if that's like both easy and more chaotic. So if you're feeling more towards that, then or we can like try both, literally clone this.
I guess just because like this will be basically my first attempt, and who knows if this is going to work, but this will be my first time trying to do anything with multiplayer. So I would say whatever you all think is easier would be best for this video.
Well, actually, the easiest type of multiplayer, at least right now, is where everybody's in the same environment, actually. Like the lobby style ones, rather than like the single match ones.
Okay.
If you were doing the first one, it would actually be easier to do something where, like, let's say you just got put on one of the two teams and you were all in the same match.
I mean, that's fun. It would be total chaos, but like, let's just do it. Could we set maximum for that? Like maximum player?
Yeah, I think we could, yeah. Should be able to.
Somebody's asking, sorry for the aside, can you make it online? The answer is yes. This is actually all online. It's just rosebud.ai, and literally, I mean, maybe if we even drop the link to Board's game, they can just remix it and try to do it. Yeah, but
you can do it on the internet.
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, I like the idea of having like a 4 versus 4 or something. That's fun. So I guess for anybody who's like looking at this for the first time, basically on the left here you've got a prompt which looks similar to other AI prompting kind of windows. You can ask it questions, you can tell it what to do, you can modify individual features, and then on the right you've got the actual game loading up in its current state. And the two tabs I generally use are basically preview, which is you can play, test and play the game, and then there's assets if you want to customize your assets. So like as an example, the game automatically generated assets at first, and then I replaced them with these pixel art ones that I created in ChatGPT. So, and you could add like music and other stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, okay, so let's just pretend that maybe people who are watching this are somewhat familiar with Rosebud, but have never done multiplayer. Like, where's the best place to start now that we've kind of nailed down what type of game we want to do and what kind of multiplayer approach we want to take?
Yeah, exactly. So you've already now gone like done the hard part. Actually, you've created a game that has pretty good structure. It's well defined. So that's actually the hardest part: making sure that you start the multiplayer process when you already have a good idea of what the gameplay is, so that you don't end up changing the whole gameplay loop and everything after you already have multiplayer, because that could get complicated because you have to change all the multiplayer systems to match the new gameplay. So now that we have gameplay going, the first step actually would be for us to actually head to Superbase and create our Superbase project, which will be our backend.
Okay, cool. So Superbase is, would it be fair to call them a partner of yours, or I mean, it's just like a preferred supplier of tools?
Not really a partner officially. It's just like we added it because it was the
Yeah.
fastest. But honestly, there's so many options. There's like Neon. There's a couple of these things out there. We just added it for ease. I think it's pretty easy to sign up for it as a user, and they have a free tier.
So like the non-coder explanation I have for Superbase is with a multiplayer game, there's a lot of human players who are doing things inside the game. They're getting scores, they're moving around, they are collecting items, and basically all that information needs to be stored not locally on your machine, but somewhere in the cloud because many people have to access that information.
Exactly.
Fair? Okay.
Yeah.
All
That is a good way of explaining it. But actually, we actually have a faster way of going through multiplayer. This actually right here is the approach that you're seeing in that button is for if you want to do maybe more complex things, like have like lobby system with like logins and like where you can have a password and things like that. We actually, if you want to, we actually have a faster way to do multiplayer, which will be making it easier to do soon. And that's what we should do today. So the first step in that case would be for us to actually head over just to superbase.com.
Oh, okay.
Instead of going to this button.
I'm wondering if I switch to another tab, that's not going to stream anymore. Or it's not going to show what I'm doing, right? Let's see. Is there a way to switch? I guess I can switch to a new tab, potentially.
Yep.
Let's do that. Whoop. Here we go. All right, I'm in Superbase. So I guess start your project.
Yes, there you go. Yes. So sorry.
And every like I did mess around before and it didn't work, but like one of my previous games was Cool Ball. So is every game its own project? Is that accurate?
You can do it that way. You actually don't technically have to do it that way, but I guess it could be a good way to organize things.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, not to complicate things, but essentially, the fastest way we're doing it right now, we actually won't even need to modify the database at all. We're just going to create it, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Rosie can take care of the rest in this new approach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So what do you suggest then? What should I do to get started?
All right. So the first thing you want to do is hit New Project to create the project.
All right. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And
everyone's getting my email address, so you can send me a tweet. All right. We'll just call this air hockey. All right. Is this password something that I want to be displayed, or does it not matter?
You don't necessarily need this, honestly, right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll force you to type it before you create.
Gotcha. All right, cool. All right, good to go. You can create the new project.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
they did.
Requiring the password.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Do they censor this when you generate? I don't remember. Maybe you can just stop sharing for a second. I don't know. I think they do hide it.
Okay, I'll just
in case, yeah.
All right, turning it back on.
All right.
I'm in. So there's a lot of words here.
Okay, so we could pretty much ignore almost everything on this. What you're basically right now, if you scroll up a bit, you'll see that it's saying setting up or something like that. Yeah. Oh no, it didn't. Did it set up like instantly? Okay, I think you're good. Now you can scroll down a bit for the 2 important things you need to know from this page. Scroll down, should be, yeah, there you go. Your project API. So right now it seems like it is loading. When your database is actually set up, you'll see 2 values here. You see your project API key and you see your project URL. Those are basically 2 values you need because those are, once you tell Rosie those, you'll be able to connect your project to this database. But
Got it.
while
Yeah.
but
And
while
there
this is
was a little
going,
bit with like a JSON bin before for like high scores, which was similar. There was an API key and a bin. It was fairly simple, but I have a feeling this is going to be easier and have more functionality.
mm-hmm. Yes, you can do it a lot, and again, Rosie can take care of a lot of it, thanks to the way Supabase works. But while we're waiting for this, actually, we can do the next start on the next step, and the next step is the most important step, multiplayer, which is that we have a cool multiplayer ready template that we made, which you didn't start with, which is fine. But what you need to do is you need to copy a snippet from it that we're going to paste into the chat of your project. I can link that for you though, maybe on X.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless you have it open already, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to send it in our group chat.
Sounds good.
I guess for anyone else who's watching, is there a specific place that they could get this snippet? Is it like on your blog or?
There's a video. We fully agree this is very annoying. So we're trying to make this all one click. But we should share it on the comments in our streams. So maybe Kira can get that out and just comment on all 4 of our streams with that link.
Sure.
So we can keep.
Yeah, I put it in our DMs on X.
Awesome. I'm looking for that. By the way, thanks. There's 1.2 thousand views on this already. This is great.
Nice.
Appreciate so many
Awesome.
people are into this. Okay, so I have your link. One moment.
Yes, what this essentially is, this is essentially a template you can use to work on multiplayer games right from scratch. And it has already set up, but you can. The good thing is that if you already started your project without multiplayer, you can still just copy the snippet from this into your project, which we're about to do. So
maybe I'm just dumb, but the link that you sent me goes to a hello world with a box rotating.
Yes, exactly. That is the right one. Yes. So what you want to do is you want to remix that, so you can have your own fresh copy of it.
I wonder if Jason maybe
I
you can
did
also
the remix. If I just scroll down, got it. Okay, remix, very cool.
Also, we don't see your screen right now on board, but Jason, maybe you can also share your screen and kind of like show the steps, and we can switch to your screen if it's ever needed.
Yeah, as Bort's doing his stuff. Yeah.
All good. So I've basically exited, or temporarily I'm not looking at the previous game I was building. This is like one that I'm remixing. So is the idea that I'm going to copy and paste what I've already built into this, or I'm going to just grab code from this and then go back to my game?
Yeah, you're going to copy from this, yes. So
okay.
What you're going to do is going to go to the code tab real quick. Then you want to go to maybe you can drag. Okay, all the files look small right now. If you could drag that border so the files look, you can actually see the full names.
Yes.
They're right from the dots.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So multiplayer guide. What you want to do is you want to just go in there. You can just copy this entire thing. Yeah, Command A or Control A, whatever. Copy the entire thing, and then you could then paste that into your chat and tell Rosie, I want to make my game multiplayer. Follow this guide.
All right. Let me switch to the original. All right. I want to, of course, say please make my game multiplayer.
Right. You can also describe it how you want it. You said maybe if you want to do 4v4 or whatever. This is where you would describe that.
4v4 human players. Well, let's just say with four human players per team. Players per team. Here is the code snippet to use. And yeah, I mean, I can see how in the future, if basically this is kind of stored in your system, then Rosie can just go and find it.
Exactly. Make it easier.
You guys are making ridiculous amounts of like upgrades and improvements on this every day. Honestly, it's really cool to watch it.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So now that you enter that, this is great. Rose is going to be able to start. She's going to start step by step making this multiplayer. But while we were waiting, we can actually go back to your Super Base project, and it should be set up now. You should have your 2 values. We'll need to definitely give those to her before she actually can make the multiplayer work, since she has to connect to it.
Checking now. It's still being updated. Interesting.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe you have to refresh the page or something. Usually doesn't take this long.
Yeah, I just did. Huh. That's funny. I'll give it another second. But yeah, I mean, just to technical stuff aside, the way we're framing this up is if it's 4 versus 4, the presumption is there's at least 8 people who are who are ready to go and play. If you think about how a typical video game system works, there is a lobby and there's kind of automatic matching of players. It throws you into a room based on availability. So there's a lot of complicated things that happen on the back end that maybe we'll have to solve for. And I think that probably the most important piece is, for this game, if it is 4 versus 4, that the system knows to fill in AI if there's no human players available. Like, let's say there's 2 humans, then 6 of them should be basically AI, so that people can play and not have to wait around.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna reload.
Yes, they can do that. Yeah. Once you have your core multiplayer set up, then you can start making changes like that. Is super easy because you have the multiplayer ready to go, and then things like that are much easier to take care of than actually setting up the initial multiplayer.
Yeah, and then you've got again, this is kind of for people who are really new, but like Rosie will make suggestions on what to do next, and I have found these to be very helpful. So in this case, it's create a multiplayer lobby. If this game is a massive success and you've got hundreds of people who want to play at the same time, then a lobby system does make sense. So it can kind of sort people automatically.
Yes.
Yeah, so weird. Superbase still says secret is being updated. I wonder why that's happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anything you can reveal or click to reveal? Because usually this is weird. Shouldn't be this way.
Here, I'll even show you. Let me change my stream real quick. All right, so yeah, like this should be. I've reloaded a couple times too. Maybe if I go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's that.
Another place you can go actually is bottom left. You see that's gear. Go to that, and after that, scroll down to data API on the left menu. It's in the configuration section. Data API.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the other place where you can see this value. So if you scroll up, it should be up the top.
Oh, at the top. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, they are there. So they didn't update it on the front page, but they updated it here.
Weird. Okay, so we need these 2 items, right?
Yes, URL and this project API key. Those 2. I'd say just do it right now, because even though you don't have your multiplayer set up yet, if you just add these immediately, then she can connect to the Superbase right away, and then she can start now iterating on multiplayer.
Okay, so let me just so everyone can see what I'm doing. Let me go back to Rosebud. So in this case, I would just say the what is it called? The project URL in Superbase is, and I'm pasting in what I just copied. And so like now this is memorized by Rosie, and she'll use that whenever it makes sense. And then I'm going to copy the API key. The API key for non-technical people like me is basically allowing Rosebud to connect to your database on Superbase. Yes. It's like keys to the house.
Yes, I'm not sure if she actually did that right now. She's working on the lobby, so you might have to say that again. I think she was focused on the next step. Yeah. Also, when you actually do supply the API key, you can do the API key and the URL at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I've done that before. Good point. Sometimes I give too many instructions at the same time and it breaks.
Yeah.
Do it within reason, but 2 items seems fine.
Yeah, so that's definitely after this step. When she does this lobby, we then should give her those 2 values again, so she makes sure she just connects.
Oh, just do it. Just do it again, like both of them.
Yeah. So like,
Okay,
please update my URL and my API key with these 2, and then, or if you say first root base.
No, I was gonna say that. All right. I've got my API key, and then let me get my URL again.
Sounds good.
Hopefully that was clear enough. I will say, just general comment, now that I've been using this tool for a long time, just seeing like the sheer amount of code that is required to do what is seemingly a simple thing, I'm just like in awe of everyone who has ever written code from scratch. It's just insane. All right. So I'm assuming that worked. I'll update the URL API. So got confirmation that's stored appropriately.
That looks good.
Okay. So in the backend, presumably we've made some needed changes to enable this to happen. For now, the game is going to just stay in multiplayer or in single player mode, I think, until we actually like change things on the front end too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so cool. So I mean, in terms of setup, that's definitely fairly easy. I think there are some specific things that you have to kind of know how to do, and that, I mean, that's been my challenge, or I guess my fear for why I haven't approached multiplayer is it's just sort of knowing how to navigate these database tools. And so like these types of videos are super helpful, and I know over time you're going to add more hints so that people can just ask, you know, Rosie, like, hey, like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? And it'll help me through it. When I've used JSON bin, for example, like Rosie would literally tell me like, this is the part of the website that you need to go to, and this is what you should type in like an empty bin, because I had no idea what to do. So yeah, I definitely appreciate how like this tool is both, you know, able to take action and guide you through things too. Okay, cool. So what shall we do next?
All right. So at this point now, Rosie's saying that, oh, we could add a simple function to validate the super-based connection. We honestly could just say now to start implementing my multiplayer features, or like let's start working on multiplayer, because right now multiplayer is not there. So we need to get her started on working on that. So
let's start implementing multiplayer now that the database is connected, and I'm just stating what it already knows, but
I'm just laughing at the comments.
What are people saying?
Offer a job. Oh, I thought it was like, I want a job. Anyways, both are hilarious.
With money, I want to give you a job.
Presumably, you would get some type of compensation.
All right.
All right, I am excited. For those who are just tuning in and kind of seeing how complicated this process is, we're definitely going to try and make it like more one click as soon as possible. It's just, you know, it's one of many things we want to make it easier for our creators. But
yeah, I pay the $30 a month premium plan, so that means I get live streams with Leisha and team. And
exactly.
Everyone who pays that.
Perk? Yeah. It's a hidden perk, not in our subscription page yet.
super sub. All right, so I think it just kind of paused for a minute here.
Uh-oh. Maybe I have to resubmit that one.
Went out for a sig. I can try to reload, but
yeah, sure, you can try it. I think the axe problem actually might have failed, so we might have to resubmit that one.
All right, let's give it a.
So kind of stopped in the middle, yeah.
By the way, great feature for everyone, whether you're doing multiplayer or not, is history. You can go back and see versions that were autosaved. So sometimes when I'm in a situation where I can't even undo an issue, I just go back to a previous save and it deletes whatever the newest one was. All right, so yeah, I think it probably just didn't complete that request, right?
Well, now I'm seeing that it looks like there's a new one here. Did you? This is new, right? This step here.
Yes, I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you can scroll to the top of it quickly just to see what it was.
Okay, I'll start implementing multiplayer function. Okay, so it did.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can just continue with the next step. Okay, that's good then.
All right, so we're gonna. Okay, so we'll just continue. That's a nice upgrade, by the way. Before it was like making recommendations, and then you had to type it in, I think. But now we can just hit continue, and it does it.
Mm-hmm.
It's best for mobile too, and nobody wants to be typing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I will say for anyone watching that Rosebud's quite good at coming up with mobile, mobile controls within reason. Either on screen like arrow keys or swipes. So yeah, definitely been really helpful. And I've gotten feedback that most people playing my games have been playing on mobile. So I keep building them with desktop in mind, and I need to reverse that thinking because it's clearly not the majority. All right. So, okay, create next suggestion, create a multiplayer game logic hook file to handle game state synchronization and multiplayer controls. And, I'm going to just pretend that I know what that means and hit continue.
Yeah, exactly.
If I ask Rosie to explain some of these terms, I'm sure she would.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she would.
The files are in the computer. I will say though, like joking aside, for someone who hasn't known a lot of these terms, like this process of just watching Rosie build has taught me a lot of vocabulary. So that's been really, really helpful.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear because we've really tried to make the explanations at least interesting for somebody who wants to ramp up. And so we find that a lot of the creators eventually, after making many games, they'll go and inspect the code tab, actually, maybe eventually ramp themselves up. And it goes hand in hand to making more complicated games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but regarding like these steps, it does, because of all of the setup stuff that has to go on behind the scenes. There will be a bunch of steps like this where, like Board said, there'll be some steps you may not understand what she's doing. She's talking about like multiplayer setup and hooks and things like that. Best thing to do is just do the next step. Yeah, because once you do this next step like 4 or 5 times, you'll start to see that okay, we're ready for multiplayer now. You'll start to see like the login or the button to join and things like that, and you see that she's slowly getting you to the multiplayer because she has to take the whole single player game and go to multiplayer, which is not an easy task and can be complex. So that's why just let Rosie take care of it for you.
In terms of scale, one thing I encountered in building games, especially like 3D environments, is with a lot of players, you start to run into kind of costs that are associated with like, I guess streaming the games or just like data storage and all that. So is it fair to say that Supabase can handle everything, but people will just need to pay more money depending on the scale of their game?
That's actually, I think, a smaller part compared to what we're handling. But yes, I mean, Supabase, I think if you have like more people, you might want to upgrade at some point. Maybe Jason knows the specifics. But we haven't really hit that limit yet.
Yeah, not a lot of people.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so next step suggestion is create a multiplayer game component that integrates the multiplayer hook with the main game. Okay. And I think it's suggesting, okay, so it's saying either a lobby or actual game based of the current state. So that's kind of what I'm curious about now, is to see how it wants to handle, multiple people syncing up and actually jumping into a game together. Is it going to be through a lobby or is it something else? Let's find out.
Sounds like she wants to go for the lobby.
Too big to process.
Oh, really? Maybe our game's already big. I don't even know how big the game is right now. You could check the code tab.
How can we check that?
Okay. So if we do have like a big game already, to the point where we're right now, what's just happened, it seems like we're at the limit. So to summarize what just happened, we're probably about at like in total 2,700 lines of code, which is about the current limit of Rosie right now in terms of code gen. But what we can do to get around that is that in the code tab, if you look beside each file name, you'll see purple icon. This is actually a way you can use to get around any limit that Rosie has on code size by pretty much hiding things that Rosie does not need to see to work on this multiplayer setup. So if you can, so basically, if you do have to kind of know how your game works to do this properly, but as long as you kind of have been building your game piece by piece and you kind of know what things are, you'll know, okay, I don't really need to have the firework effect enabled right now or the egg trail
Yeah, like I
enabled
don't
right
need
now.
that,
Yeah,
for example. So do I just
yeah,
click it to hide it?
exactly. Yeah, and once you hide enough things, you have enough room to continue prompting without hitting that limit.
Just for the viewers at home, I maxed out my lines of code. That's how good the game is. So let's see if there's anything else. I probably can just get rid of the. We don't need chicken paddle because there's no more chicken paddle. I think. Okay, so hopefully getting rid of those two will help us. So just try it again now.
You can, yes. And if you hit them again, you could just remove more. Ideally, you could just remove everything. Oh, sorry, hide everything that's not related, so you have lots of room and you don't have to worry for a while. Yeah, if your game was already big when you're adding multiplayer, you really will run into this. So that's why it's good that we happen to us. If that's you,
So your suggestion is if you do want to build a multiplayer game, this like, it's better to set it up first as a multiplayer game and kind of connect Supabase and all that stuff before really diving into designing the game.
exactly. Yes, you want to have the game at the point where the simplest version of your gameplay you're intending is there. You don't want it to be no gameplay because then you run into the problem we said at the beginning of the stream of you now have to change all the multiplayer systems to match your new gameplay. You don't want that. But if you already created the V1 of your game, then even if you do change some gameplay things, it's not that much. So the multiplayer systems won't change that much.
Got it. Okay, that's a good tip. Let's see. Did it do this?
Make sure you hit apply though, because if you're in the code tab when she responds, she won't apply it on her own. So you want to hit the apply button on that, yeah.
Let's see. Where is the apply button?
Oh no, I mean like in the actual, even in the chat. In the chat response, she like Rosie auto applies changes, but she won't do it if you're in the code tab, yeah.
Okay, so I hit apply. We're good there.
Okay. All right. Now she's saying, update the game component to accept and use multiplayer props. Okay, so it seems like she's about to actually show us the multiplayer system soon.
Sweet. And I mean, for those who have not had a lot of experience designing games, going from single player to multiplayer is a big jump because especially when you modify things, it's like 10 to 100 times more complicated in terms of what breaks. It makes you appreciate things like Fortnite, the insanity of what it takes to make that all work and for people to see the same stuff in the same place.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll just hit apply again just in case. Update the scoreboard component to handle multiplayer mode displaying by adding the multiplayer mode and player team props. So, I mean, in theory, everyone should look at the same or can use the same scoreboard because it's just one team versus the other. But let's see. Yeah, there's no individual. The one thing that it's kind of hard to see right now. Let me see if I expand it. The one thing that I had before, which we need to get rid of, is so you could toggle before between easy, medium, and hard when playing against the computer. That's no longer relevant. So, as like a side request here, let's just say, please remove difficulty adjustment. I don't even know what she's calling this option. So there is no easy, medium, or hard mode to select. Hopefully that will make sense to her. Too big. Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, so we need to
get rid of more stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get rid of all the fancy things here that we don't need right now. We don't need power-ups for now either. Okay, let's see. Maybe that'll help.
Okay, and then after this, we should be getting to a point where we should be able to start like actually getting multiplayer working to first be able to actually log in to lobby. So let's see what she should be there soon.
Jason, does it usually take this long? I feel like for some of your other games, it isn't this long. So I wonder if there's any advice you can give to folks starting out, like, what kind of games should they try with multiplayer first?
Yeah, well, I think what's going on right now is that there's enough systems in the game that Rosie's basically in the background getting all these existing systems to connect to the multiplayer. So she's trying to be not avoid like, destroying the system. So she's being careful. But yeah, anybody who's starting off, again, you want to start off with a game where the gameplay is quite simple. It's not too many systems. Like let's say a
Mm,
game where the easiest type I would say, whether it's 3D or 2D, honestly, is actually the same difficulty in both for this kind of game. A game where you are in a world like moving around, just any game like that, whether it's a flight sim or anything like that, where the main gameplay is that some of these people are walking around and there's people, so that in those kind of games it's pretty straightforward because all Rose has to do is make sure you can see other people, and that's a very good way to start multiplayer.
yeah.
Yes, here it's taking a bit longer because we have actual like score systems and we have rounds and things like that. So she needs to make sure those all work first. But we can tell her right now that hey, is the multiplayer ready yet? Something like that, or I can't I can't
Right.
join the multiplayer, something like that. Make it clear that we need to hurry up to get towards multiplayer. Maybe she can just speed up the process.
Yeah, so because Board actually made a really kind of interesting game mechanics wise, it's seemingly harder. Whereas, like, I think when we just do like a Minecrafty or open world exploration, or even like maybe an RPG thing, it's like actually simpler to add multiplayer. So
Yes.
I want to actually, encourage people. It's like it doesn't usually take this long, but let's make it work. I think we can make it work with this one. It's a very
Mhm.
timely game, so why not?
Actually,
All
funny enough, Rosie's last next step was actually saying she wants to add the multiplayer to the render tree.
Oh,
So it
okay.
means that she's trying. She actually was getting there. Maybe
Oh,
we can
okay.
just do that. Yeah. And if she doesn't do it, then we can just say that a complete multiplayer. Or, yeah, make it so I can join. You see, allowing you just to access the multiplayer functionality. There you go. So she was right. I think she was right about to be done.
I mean, I love that you think this is taking long because this would have been, weeks of work a year ago. All right, so cool. So this is now we have a completely different option when we start up the game, which is very cool. I can play single player, which was kind of the classic game I built, or we can do multiplayer. Whoa, this is exciting.
Well, this is a serious lobby.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, that's weird. I'm like typing my name and it's kind of
What was
connecting
that?
and
Keeps
reconnecting.
reconnecting.
Huh. Every letter I type, it does that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we could definitely try to fix that. But can you join at all?
So, okay, so let's see. I'm
Let's say
updating.
players one. Maybe we can publish this and start sharing so people can actually join with you. It's connected players one.
So yeah, I'm selecting my team, but I don't see a way to. Oh wait, start game. Okay, need at least one player on each team. Okay, so maybe we go back and say, like add AI if multiplayer humans are not available, or how would we approach this?
We can actually just right now just try and actually make other people join. Like so you can publish it and share, so you can see if
Oh,
the
okay.
multiplayer works first, and then we can actually add something like that afterwards.
All right, we'll say test Tariff Pong
FF.
game, and then publish. All right, here is the. So if anybody's watching, I'm gonna go ahead and post this below the stream.
All right.
All right.
So the audience can join. Well, let's see if I can get there before people in your audience.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, everyone, I hope you are not offended by the topical nature of the game. It is a joke. So, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty neutral to me.
Hey, look, you can pick whatever team you want. I'm not
Exactly.
casting
I
any
picked.
winners or losers here.
Exactly. It's just topical.
Okay, so I've published it. So I guess in theory, I can play it through here, and I don't need to go to the actual link
Yeah.
that I shared.
No, you should be able to just play from here. So we can start seeing it just actually update when people start joining.
Okay.
Need at least one player on each team to start the game. Wait, do
Okay.
you see me?
So
How
far,
do
no.
I?
Maybe I reload. Let's see what happens if I reload.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is an important step, just to kind of just reload a bunch, let people join, test if things work, and then if they don't, you can tell Rosie what's happening.
Jason, do you know why it's not working though? Because I actually can't see him. Something's like loading, so I think something's. Oh no, some people. I see somebody. Never mind. Okay.
Who do you see?
Oh yeah, there's 3 players.
Yeah. Okay, great. No, I see people.
So one funny thing is the start button is not visible.
Oh, it's off screen.
Yeah, it's off screen.
It fits the UI, yeah.
Okay, so yes, sometimes this happens. That's okay. In the multiplayer lobby, please move the start game button above the select your team text. I don't know, this is how I do it, but I always am very specific about putting stuff or moving stuff on screen by just saying put it next to X, and that usually works.
Yeah. Also, I just zoomed out and kind of helped. Jason, did you join?
No, I didn't. Yeah, let me find that link.
Yeah. So I'm still on.
Yeah, can you guys share the link in the private chat of the stream? If you go to the stream, there's a private chat.
I think part of this problem is that there's 4 positions per team, so this is technically a 8-person multiplayer game now.
Mm-hmm.
Did we intend for it to be?
Yeah, we wanted it to be 4 versus 4.
Oh, okay, got it. I missed that. It's that was 2 versus 2. I'm like, this is a massive, massive lobby.
Crazy. A lot of players involved.
Yeah, well, I think she said it's one. It's like minimum 1 per team, so I think we can have at least. We can still start, right? Even if you have only 3.
So if anyone else connects, I'll just let's see if it's still doing the thing. Yeah, it's still doing. I'll just be player B. That's fine. Yeah. But I think I'm the only one connected.
Yeah, I think we probably just have to tell Rosie that the issue's happening with the name, but let's see if it still works before we do that.
It says need at least 1 player on each team to start the game, which we do have. But
interesting. I don't see that. I see connected players 1. Maybe I have to reload again or refresh. Nope. No, I see 2. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens if I start. No.
Which team are you guys both on the same team?
I put Team China.
I put Team USA, but I'm not even.
Yeah, I won't let me.
I don't see you in the lobby.
Yeah.
Is it possible there's more than 1 lobby?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like people ending up in different lobbies. So maybe what we can do, we might have to just tell Rosie that this is happening, and also, do you make sure to update the publish?
Oh,
it should be fine. It should be fine either way. But each time you update the game, make sure you republish. Okay, we may have to just tell Rosie that when other people change their people aren't showing up. I don't know, how can you say this? Like the people in the lobby aren't updating frequently enough, or not updating.
Yeah, lobby is not updating frequently enough with new players.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, basically, if you think about how a typical video game works, if there's 8 people in a game, it's always going to send the first 8 people to 1 lobby. It's not going to send 2 people to 4 different lobbies.
Yeah. We can even say that, make sure everybody ends up in the lobby.
Yeah.
In the same lobby.
Sure, all players are directed to the same lobby. Make new lobbies if more than 8 players are active, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. That makes sense.
I love that this is forcing people to do some basic algorithms. So you learn so much using Rosebud. This is actually,
still have to learn math, kids. Everyone still learn how to add and subtract and multiply. Exactly. Don't worry about division.
Yeah, maybe you should. You should ask Rosie about it.
My grandmother made me memorize the multiplication tables up to 12. And I'm a rare breed, I think. All right, so stuff is happening.
I'm gonna try to, once you update, I'm going to try it again. Maybe I should just get myself kind of ready by playing the single player version.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, you hit hit the egg into the other side's goal, pretty much.
Oh, nice.
I am curious though if it's gonna put AI into the game, because we didn't. I don't think we actually said to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to see it after. Okay, now make sure you republish board, and then we can now see if this works.
I forgot to do that. Remind me again, what's the difference between no logo and logo?
So actually you can try it. So with the logo, we just have a thing on the bottom that actually lets other people remix your game. So like, for instance, if you're sharing a workshop with your audience, they can grab the link and then remix your game right now, maybe create their own version. So with the logo, actually, it makes it a little bit more multiplayer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm connected. Anybody else want to try to jump in?
I'm going to try to refresh, given you just republished, and then hopefully I don't see you.
I would love to have a link to try with you guys. I don't know where you found it.
Go to Boards X stream.
Yeah, I just posted it right below the video.
But I don't see you.
Huh.
Yeah. Jason, are you having the same problem?
Yeah, I'm still finding the link, sorry. But I'm just trying to watch two. Oh, connected players 2. Oh, 1. It's like going just between 2 and 1.
Yeah, what the heck? You are the host. You can start the game when ready. Is it just because it's forcing all of us to be the host by default?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, what? Maybe what you can do is that to kind of like simplify this, because this is getting a bit complicated. You can tell Rosie to make it be that people just get put in the game automatically, and you just fill in the teams instead. So make it that the game starts by default, and then you fill in the teams as people join instead of having a lobby. Just as a simpler first version.
Yeah, I like that. As new players join, should I like explicitly say like eliminate the lobby?
Yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, to be even more clear, yes, probably a good idea. That might be easier. There's some like Lisa said. There's some confusion with the host. Yeah, and that's actually a general tip with multiplayer. It's much easier to make games where people get auto-filled into a shared environment or world than to make lobby systems. But lobby systems do work too. You just have to do a little bit more tinkering to make sure that there's stuff like this gets resolved.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I do like the lobby system, but maybe not as elegant for this particular game. Okay, so modify the multiplayer manager class to automatically assign players. Yes, I think that's what we wanted. Okay.
Yes, that sounds good.
Ooh, while we're waiting, request for feature any like additional analytics for game makers. I know you can see like how many people played your game when you're looking at the overall list of games, but would be really cool if there's anything deeper than that as well over in the future.
Stuff like that. No, totally. It's on the to-do. It's just 80% of the to-do gets eaten up by like let's improve this flow. Multiplayer one click. So we hear you.
Selfishly, I just want to be able to like brag to people like, hey, my game's got a combined 50,000 plays, something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, something broke, and that's okay. I often have to hit the fix it button. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in parallel, Jason, since you have the game, do you want to just try to clone it and fix it on your side so we can get a version that works?
Yeah, we can just work it in parallel, and see which one works first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I joined the chat too late, so I don't have the project link. Maybe someone could drop it.
The chat?
Jason, you can see it in the literally in the chat I shared with everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. on X, okay, cool.
In the private chat as well. A free stream.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not published with logos. You can't remix it easily, but you know the name that he saved it under, so just search it in Rosebud.
Okay, sure.
Remix it from there, unless he defaulted it not remixable.
I'll do that.
It's like I feel like we need to like do another one where it's like really impressive open world, and then we add multiplayer in like literally 5 minutes. I promise you that has happened. Just this is lobbies and all this, really extra gameplay seems to have tripped the AI up.
It's okay. I mean, it's good to push the boundaries.
Yeah, I think this is like a very realistic kind of look into vibe coding. So people are just like showing their end products. Like it's like sure you can get that in the first prompt, but really what people want is to like build something that's like several hours later. This is what you're doing.
Yeah, I will say right now, and this is me just doing a lot of like guessing and fixing. It's taking me about a day to make a game, which is pretty incredible.
Nice. Yeah.
But as I get more familiar, and half the time, honestly, is spent just making assets. So that's not even.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this on Twitter before, but like thinking back to when I was making tabletop games, it's wild to me because I would spend 9 to 10 months, getting assets created and designed and all these things, and then like 3 months on like refining the game, and now you can just flip it in reverse. Like, AI does a lot of the tedious production work, and you can focus on refinement of the experience.
Yeah, especially with like when you're doing a lot of trendy or popular things. That's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, I broke your stuff. Sorry.
Jason, get a functional version.
Yeah, I think on Elon's side, you just hit the limit again. Rosie should be able to fix these issues, but you might have to disable a few more files. Also, if you could also publish, because right now actually I cannot remix right now since it's not technically published for remixing.
Oh, it won't even let me do that. Interesting.
Yeah, after you maybe you can even go back a few versions. Yeah.
Jason can
see if I can go back to maybe it's probably gonna have to be something older like this.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Even back when we had the lobby, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then just
if you do a regular publish as well, just so I can remix.
Oh, got it.
This is helpful for people to know.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Thank you.
It's a little spotty.
Yeah, I think I should be able to remix now.
And for anyone who's curious, you can send people to play games like on the Rosebud site. It's hosted on Rosebud, but you can also embed your games on your own website, which I've done.
Yes.
And Jason made a really handy tutorial for that. Do we want to switch over to your screen for streaming?
Yeah, we can.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Did you remix it already?
Yeah, I remixed it. So I will share my screen. I have too many things open right now.
Like address, credit card numbers, tabs.
Okay.
What if it's like useful for?
All right, so pretty much I'm where board was with this version of the product is the one where we already started working on the version where it automatically joins, but we are at the limit. So I need to start removing some of these. Oh, sorry, not removing. Sorry, I'm hiding them so that they're not in context. So we have more room. Scoreboard, maybe.
And by the way, for anybody who builds something that they're really passionate about, the code is there, right? So like if you don't want this to be in Rosebud, you can just download all the code and run it elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. People have been asking about like, hey, having a subscription tier where they can download and also have some type of submit to Steam or
Oh,
other.
wow.
Yeah. So also, on the to do, as you can imagine, it's a little bit more involved, but absolutely doable.
Yeah, as someone who submitted games to Steam, it is very detailed what you need to submit.
Yeah.
Like 50 different versions of the same picture with very specific parameters.
I know. It's like same as like mobile app land, especially for iOS.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Mobile games in browser are definitely getting much better, which is exciting to see. I think we're finally getting away from just like everything has to be an app to work properly. And games are kind of the last obstacle. Like people build nice web apps and stuff, but gaming is not quite as good yet as an app.
Yeah. Also, in this kind of scenario, I would honestly recommend going back to the version of the game where you had like your multiplayer stuff was semi-working.
Like in the
I'm
lobby.
prompting, the lobby version, and then I would then try again to do the feature of auto joining, but start from there since this direction seems to be causing issues. I'm still prompting right now, but maybe you can, if you revert to that version, then I can try remix again.
Sure. Let me go back to where we had a lobby.
That sounds good.
Okay, found one. So you want me to publish that one again?
Exactly, yeah. So then I'll remix and I can start from there. Yeah. Again, it should work. Just as soon as you get unlucky.
Okay, I just published it.
You did? Okay, cool. I'll just go remix that right now.
I know we're a little over the hour. Is everyone okay to keep going a little bit, or I'm happy to wrap it whenever.
Yeah. Got some other folks covering some other meetings, so we're good.
Cool.
So we have a suggestion. We have a suggestion from Lore. I think it will be a good idea to limit the lobby creation and separate modes, be a host and join.
Yeah, I think a lot of games, basically, if you want to start a game, you can create a lot. Well, there's two things. I mean, you can have like a private lobby, and then there's public lobbies. So, I mean, that's getting a lot more complicated, and that's sort of based on the assumption that you've got hundreds or thousands of people playing at the same time.
Also, Borg, make sure you also publish the regular way too. Maybe you just did a no logo publish. I still have the version with the work in progress auto join. I don't have the lobby version. When I remix.
So the one that I have up right now. Oh wait, maybe I have to hit confirm. I didn't confirm it. Okay.
Okay.
Let's. I might have to reload.
Somebody had a question. I use Rosebud, but whenever I get 3D models from Sketchfab, it won't load. Might just be some. I mean, what are the formats of those models?
Yeah, I recommend if you can try and stick to GLTF and GLB assets you find on Sketchfab, wherever you're looking. Yeah, FBX can work sometimes, but if FBX has to be set up really well for them to be kind of work, and this happens on many environments where sometimes people set up OBJ or FBX assets in a poor way or a way that isn't the greatest, so then it can lead to issues with different loaders on different places. Whereas usually GLTF and GLB assets work well, and Sketchfab has quite a few of those.
Yeah, and on the same topic, we're gonna have a whole video tomorrow morning on assets for 3D games, including 3D models and where to find them. We have a whole list of great websites with 3D assets that should work best on Rosebud.
To me, that that is the wildest thing we're seeing with game development is just like being able to rapidly create 3D models, environments. Scripting a bunch of stuff together is still somewhat tricky, but like this is going to be the difference between a game taking 5 years and 1 year.
Also, it's weird. I'm right now continuing to debug the auto join version, but I still, when I remix, don't get the lobby one. Weird.
I thought I confirmed the correct one and published it.
Okay. You published with both no logo and regular?
Here, I just did regular, and I'm going to do no logo as well.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and the current one you're on is the lobby version?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is weird.
Still not.
Oh yeah, I see. Like when I play your game, it shows lobby. Let me try and remix it then.
Should I? Never mind. I was gonna say, should I delete the tweet that's linking people to the last game? I don't know if we're gonna use yours.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then this one you can then retweet when we're done. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're here. Let's call this start. Let's get this fixed. Okay. Let's make it that when players join this game, they automatically get put into a match that is running instead of waiting in the lobby. You can autofill teams. Let's see what she does with that. Should be able to do this. She says she's going to implement automatic player assignment to running matches. This will prepare the waiting phase. Get players into gameplay. Yeah, probably should make it to be that people still have a screen at the start to enter a name. Add a quick assignment. Team assignment indicator shows which team the player was assigned to. Yeah. Sure. You also might hit the limit soon. Maybe have to disable a few files. Right now she's adding an indicator to show which team you joined when you join. Okay. Also make it that the first screen for players before they actually join is to enter their display name. Says add a display name entry before players join the multiplayer game. Yeah, which is exactly what we wanted. Yep, and once she's done this, let's see if she's done it. If she says she's done, I'll just ask her, is this ready to go? Sometimes I ask her, is this ready to go after doing a bunch of steps to implement something complicated in case she has something else that she didn't mention yet that she wants to. Okay, so update the multiplayer manager to properly handle the, to make the process. Okay, that was bound to happen. with this. So now time for us to disable a few things. Game over screen, sure. Power up indicator off. Okay. Try it again. Just disable a few things Rosie doesn't need. Disable a few things that Rosie doesn't need to see. Now she wants to update the multiplayer lobby to use the new player name. That sounds good. Should be almost there. Oh. Yeah, this might have to refresh the page for this one. Let's see. No, that one didn't go through, so I'm just going to resubmit that. That does happen sometimes. You can just refresh. There we go. She's doing it now. Okay,
So
sure.
Mr. Hamster is saying that I think my internet would be slow or the format is wrong, but I used every format Sketchfab has for downloading models. The closest one I found is GLB, which labels it as 3D, but it never would load. I think it's my internet. I don't know.
Oh.
I doubt it's the internet, to be honest. But who knows? Maybe it's too big of a model.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if like as long as you can ask if they actually have uploaded it yet. So that they've uploaded it to Rosebud, but it's like not showing up in the game. That's the issue. I'm not sure.
And I do think actually in 7 minutes I have to jump, but I feel like at some point we can get this going and I can share the link so people can try it out.
Yes,
Even if
yeah.
we don't do it live.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think we should be ready soon. Let's try to get it done next like 2-3 minutes. So before you go.
For anyone watching, also like definitely join the Rosebud Discord. A lot of really great support in there and ongoing streams and tutorials, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, we should post a link for that.
Remember when people used to tell you a URL and they would say www?
Wait, I'm supposed to have. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I did join. Interesting. Okay, I joined, but I don't have control of the rights. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I joined, but don't have control of the proper character. Make sure you add a new character that the player that joined controls, and yeah, make sure players can see all the other players. Because I just said that I got put on the Team China, but I'm like not controlling the Team China, and also I'm not sure if she's even adding like one person per team. She used to keep adding like new characters for each person that joins, right? So it says I'll implement character control visibility for all players. Just to ensure that they can see and identify each other, and that each player probably controls their assigned character. Once that's done, we should be able to test again. issue. Try it again.
One of the coolest things, Alicia, is that people have been posting their kids playing some of the games that I've built, which is really
Yes.
fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. I feel like kids would be better at prompting than us naturally too, because
Yeah.
they've grown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to start putting ESRB ratings in my games.
Right. Implement visual representations of multiple players on the same team. Yep. Oh. Now she wants to make display names above the heads. Yep, that does sound good. We did hit the limit, so I'm gonna adjust.
Board, you have to go soon, right?
I do, unfortunately.
Just shoot you over the link when it's done, and
Well, I really appreciate you all giving me this fantastic tutorial. I learned some things that I basically had no idea how to even like set up, so that was helpful. And I think the big lesson for me is start from scratch with the multiplayer setup before jumping into game design, because it definitely just will make it less clunky.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I think people who are watching this live, thank you so much. I'm sure a bunch of people will rewatch this later as well. And I'm definitely going to set a goal for myself in the next 30 days to build a multiplayer game from scratch and make it my first official self vibe coded multiplayer game. So yeah, I guess just thanks again for this. This is like super interesting, and I think you all are doing an amazing job with Rosebud, and appreciate you keeping up with like the thousands of upgrades and changes and requests being thrown at you.
of course, and things like this help us kind of see, and prioritize which creator pain points are the most acute. So we also appreciate you kind of showing us.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So yeah, I will post the link to the game for people to try once it is live, and we'll go from there. Play some Pong.
Sounds good. All right.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
sounds good.